Alright, welcome back to another video. I'm so excited to have you. I've been getting bombarded with a lot of ideas and things that are coming out, so just bear with me if my channel is going like this. We're going to talk about holistic health, but we're also going to talk about spirituality and all things love and light, right? All things that exist in holistic health and holistic wellness and just holistic life. So that includes mind, body, spirit. So that's why my channel goes like, we're talking about faith, we're talking about healing, we're talking about love, we're talking about herbs and all of these types of things, because I am holistic. So I worry and not worry. I focus on we don't worry. I focus on the mind, body, and spirit connection, or shall I say the spirit, mind, and body connection, because we are spirit first, mind, then body. And that is how we need to be programmed, and that's how we need to work. But society told us to worry about the physical things first, and that's going to be the biggest thing that I'm going to talk about in this video. So just stay tuned and stay tuned for all the other uploads that I'm going to upload, because I'm going to rock out. But basically, a way to keep everybody limited. And this is how society did it. Let's just talk about it. Society did it by, if I make you believe that you should focus mainly on the physical things, then you are going to focus on the physical things. And society has programmed us, and why we don't believe in manifestation, or why we are so quick to go back to, if we are in our spiritual practices, we go back to these practices that are more indoctrined in us to basically worship something outside of ourselves. And that is going to be another video, basically. But if I want to keep a people limited, I have to put them around limited sources. Once again, I feel like I said this. If I'm trying to train a dog to be vicious, I am not going to put that dog in a loving and happy environment. I'm going to put it in a cage. I'm going to give it limited food. I'm going to put it on a time frame. And I'm going to make you think that everything outside is dangerous. So that makes you heightened. That makes you feel like at any point you're down for attack. I will beat you. I will put you down, basically, so that you can only focus on what I want you to focus on. And that is one of the biggest things that society has done to us. Society has done that to us, us Black people. Society has done that to, just at this point, they just doing it to everybody at this point. But that has been one of the biggest things. And we see it a lot of the times in these lower income communities, where people who are in poverty, they still have a poverty mindset. And we may take a few out of that bunch to like tell them to be the people, so that way we can kind of keep the system running and flowing the way we need the system to run and flow. But life is just a big old game of energy and vibrations, right? So you can always break the code, but the thing is, you have to know that you're actually in the system to break the code. And that is why they don't want you to know that you are in the system. And any time that you are out of the system, or you think that you're out of the system, there's always something to pretty much try to pull you back down. And so the reason why it is so difficult for us to manifest or even believe in manifestation is because your body has been programmed to not believe it. You have been programmed to believe only the things that you can see, and that is why your faith has dwindled. That is why you do not trust fully in yourself, and you trust in something outside of yourself. And whether that is whatever, Christianity, if that is, believing in the system, or feeling like I have to work so hard to get to the things that I want. And recently I was having a conversation with my mom. Was like, to get money is basically to, it's going to be stressful. And I was like, no. And I was like, yeah. And then I said, no. No, I don't want to identify with that. No, I do not have to be stressed to make a living. I don't have to be stressed. I'm not stressed. I won't identify with that. I checked that and I dismissed that. That was something that I took in, that I said, I don't want to actually make this a belief of mine. So I throw that away. So basically, if I put you in this community where there are people who are just like you, where there is no way out, where everybody is talking about money, it's not enough, we broke, we impoverished, the school systems that you go to, they don't give enough money there. They don't pour into anything in the community, and your community sucks, right? It sucks. that is a way to tell you that you will always be stuck. And only how you're able to get out of that is by working for me and pouring into me and loving on me. And that is how you'll be able to get a little bit of crumbs. And it takes away your identity, right? And you become just a number to them. And it's not working. It is really not working, and it's making us go crazy. And once again, this will be the video right after that as to why you don't want to work a 9 to 5 and why everybody is like losing their mind. And that is because we lack authenticity. Everybody, we're in this stage now where they have programmed us to be robots at this point, and they kind of see that it ain't working. But let's get back to the energy that it is. So if I want to keep a system controlled, I'm going to make sure that I keep them around the same people. I can't put you in a rich environment and expect you not to be rich. You're going to be rich. So I have to keep you around the people who are going to constantly feed to you that no, you're not rich, but not only feed to you in your mind, they're feeding to you with the foods that you eat. They're feeding to you with the programs that they preach and they talk about. If I'm in the school system, I'm not going to teach you how to capitalize off something that you're really, really good at. So say for instance, you're really, really good at painting. I'm not going to see that and capitalize off of that, but we may have some teachers who are like, wow, that is something that you really should do. But there is not, anything that teachers are really seeing you're really, really good at and saying like, that is what we need to focus on. You have some teachers who will do it. I'm not going to say that's all teachers, but that's not the idea of the school system. The school system is not to basically build off your talents, your natural God-given talent, and say, hey, let's actually tell this person how to make a living off of this and how to connect to themselves using this. No, I'm not going to tell them that. I'm going to tell them to shut off any parts of your creativity and go into something that is basically can make more money in our system. How you should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer, or you should be something with math. And we have the STEM programs to focus on these things because we see technology is growing and the sciences and all that stuff like this. So I want to build up my robot. So I'm starting it off with kids. I wanted to teach you all how to disconnect from your bodies, disconnect from the things that are all spiritual, and make you realize that you are just this physical being who is just going to die. And so you need to work, and then eventually you'll die because you'll be sick because I'm feeding you things like this. And I'm not only feeding you physical things that are making you sick and making you deplete yourself, but I'm also feeding you mentally. I'm also feeding you spiritually that you can't do nothing about it. So if I want to be a millionaire, I have to stay in the energy of a millionaire, and I have to go around that, and I have to become that. And that is the hardest part about manifestation, is staying in that in the midst of everything else. And that is why your manifestations are not working, because society has made you think that manifestations don't work, even though you have been manifesting your life the entire time. You have been manifesting your poverty. You have been manifesting your failed relationships. You have been manifesting your failed jobs, your hateful jobs, your hurtful jobs, the hurtful life that you have. You have been manifesting it, but it's not your fault per se. It's only your fault if you it's not your fault. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and try to make it your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You were programmed to do so. And now you have the information to do it, but not everybody have the information. There are so many people who I'm on holistic health and I've grown up with, and I know all this stuff like this, and they don't know anything about this. They've never heard of this topic, and I will still see them and they'll be home. And I'm like, wow, that's actually crazy how you don't know anything about holistic health, because in my reality, I'm always seeing holistic health and things like that. But it's just crazy because you haven't shifted to my reality. So now that you shift into this reality, now you will start seeing more things about holistic health and things like that. But you probably always had little inklings about it. And that is how you know what type of path you were always supposed to be on. So if you want to really heighten up your manifestations, you have to literally deprogram yourself. And that is one of the most difficult things. That is one of the most challenging things, because in order to deprogram yourself, you really have to stop identifying with the reality that you see right now, because that is just your old beliefs. That is just yesterday's thoughts showing you what is happening right now. And so in order to actually stand strong and become the ideal being who you want to be, you have to stop identifying with the old version of yourself, even though your reality is showing you the old version of yourself. So I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.